Hey, hello, how are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. As always, I'm your host with the most, they call me Timothy, and this is just a podcast. And today, I want us to talk about sexuality as we are continuing the thought, but in another different way, the politics surrounding sexuality. So, sexuality is experienced and expressed in thoughts, fantasies, desires, beliefs, attitudes, values, behaviors, practices, roles, and relationships. While sexuality can include all of these dimensions, not all of the dimensions are always experienced or expressed. So, it's therefore correct to say that sexuality is influenced over and over again by the interaction of biological, psychological, social, economic, political, cultural, ethical, legal, historical, religious, and other factors. Like if we start gaining an example, a current example from the WHO in 2002 about the Gusi community members, it says they would also abstain from sex following a death. Although this signals respect for the disease, perhaps indicating that society is ready to suspend pleasure to honor them or is not in a hurry to replace them, is also reportedly visits upon the community and its members supernatural blessings and reprieve. Or we can cite the example of the Merus of Kenya, who traditionally punish adultery by forcing deviants to lie down as if they were having sex and pinning them to the ground with a wooden spear for several days until they die from bleeding. This view involves the prohibited sexual behaviors as a form of witchcraft, but it is believed to bring calamity upon the society, causing prayers and incantation to reach their destination of ancestors. It is believed that in most of the African communities, maybe during a special occasion or maybe like a burial, abstain from having sex until the period is over. Many people believe it to be like a form of witchcraft or practicing some rituals, but it is pictured as paying respects. Maybe I don't know to who, but if you do not practice abstinence during this period, it is believed that certain calamities may befall the community. In the past, this might not only be rectified by slaying the offender, so such persons are beaten to death in the bush, preferably by the clan. Ethnographic literature on witchcraft and occult in Africa also regularly makes reference to exotic and perverse sexual practices and the sexualization of paranormal. If a person doesn't want to abstain from having sex during a special period, or like I've said previously, it results in his own death by the members of the community. We may also cite that literature highlights that witchcraft as an alternative means of attaining a range of sexually related behavior, including manipulating lovers, spouses, achieving violent sexual encounters, compensating for the absence of human lovers, causing male and female homosexuality, and committing incest and inducing abortion. For example, in Zambia, witches are famed for capacity to destroy their reproductive capacities in order to not reproduce for society. Nigeria and Cameroon mostly engage in homosexuality as a way to reduce the population, which is also a factor that denies the society their reproductive potentials. In many other African countries and African societies, including the Nigeria, the Yoruba, and what have you, it's believed that witches and sorcerers are reportedly gain power in strength by particularly attacking or consuming other people's sexual reproductive parts, e.g., wombs, sexual organs, and products of conception and reproductive fluids. Even people who undergo castration and they want to build their bodies, they also deny society a chance for reproductive potential. Local beliefs also position themselves in South Africa, like witches are able to use non-human being to unleash unwanted sexual intercourse. Many scholars of this culture have interpreted these narratives as part of a moral system that warns about the possibility of certain sexual activities to transgress the local hierarchies of domination. Given their presumed supernatural abilities, Witches embody a potential for threatening the social sexual order, the framing of the antisocial activities of witches and other wicked persons in idioms of pervert production and reproduction. In images and tales of ungenerative sexuality, rape and deadly sexual exchanges derives largely from the emphasis placed on fertility and reproduction in African culture. So in short, that's the politics that is surrounding sexuality mostly in Africa. You can see back in the day, the way we practice our sexuality was quite different from the white man, from the Western culture. And I'm just trying to give you a preview of how we used to practice our sexuality as a continent. For instance, let's say we have a man who's wealthy but is wifeless, or a woman who's wealthy but doesn't have an husband. Okay, so people like that are viewed with suspicion to trigger speculations about the possibility of exchanging their natural sexuality and fertility for wealth and fame. It is studied in Africa mostly through ethnographic data collected across by samples. Even up to now, people still believe that you do not just trust men who are rich and do not have families. You do not ask yourself a question that why don't they have family? So rumors are going around that maybe these rich men and rich women who do not have family and just look for hookups, they sometime back in their life, they sacrifice their sexual reproductive organs in order to gain wealth. So this is a study that was made from Ghana by Bridget Meyer in 1995. It shows that barren women risk suspicion of witchcraft or a devil contract, while childless men can easily inspire rumors of involvement in a sort of demonic pact, which yields them wealth in exchange for the natural use of the sexuality. The scholar suggests that the hidden theme of satanic riches related to ritual sex is about the continuity of human capacity to create new life and the family relationships resulting from it. So, in short, that's it for today. I'd like, if you have any more insights about the culture that you grew up in and the practices they do and the politics that surrounds that culture which you grew up in, the politics around sexuality and wealth generation, I'd like you to indulge me through the comments and the shares, and maybe we might do another episode concerning the same, because I realize this is a topic that's affecting us on a large quantity, because we see certain people and we judge them according to the way they live, and we don't know the background truth of it. So keep on listening to Just a Podcast, and this has been the 5th episode. As for me here in studio, I'd like to thank you and appreciate your support on YouTube and all other audio listening platforms. From me here from Just a Podcast, it's Timothy. It's been nice hosting you, and until next time, signing out. Just a pod to the world. Thank you.